Well, ultra-marathon runner and former Liberal MP Pat Farmer has spent the last 6 months running around Australia, travelling more than 14,000 kilometres for the voice to Parliament. Yesterday, Australians voted an overwhelming no to constitutional change. And Pat Farmer joins me now live. Pat, it's great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you feeling? You've had a huge 6 months, and then yesterday Australians voted an overwhelming no. How are you feeling about the result today?
Well, Danica, to be honest with you, I feel absolutely devastated with the result. All sorts of reasons for it, which I'm sure people will analyse and then overanalyse. But at the end of the day, all I can think about is the people that I met on the ground in some of the very remote parts of Australia, those poor Indigenous people that are absolutely doing it tough, and saw this as a ray of hope, to be able to have a voice, to be able to state their case and to be able to move forward on into the future with some optimism for their children and their children's children. So for them, I feel incredibly upset. For many Australians, as we've stated all along, for 97% of Australians, it's not going to affect them one bit, not one bit at all. But it was an opportunity for that 3% that were highly disadvantaged to be able to make a difference to their lives and give them some hope.
When you reflect on the campaign overall, and as we mentioned, you yourself did so much to raise awareness. You ran 14,000 kilometres across the great country, which is a huge feat in itself. But what do you think happened, and why didn't the voice resonate?
Well, Danica, my job was to try and educate people. There were so many people asking so many questions all the way along. I started back in April, as you know. I started down there in Tasmania, in Hobart, Tasmania, where the Prime Minister sent me off from the steps of Town Hall. I was there with the Premier and a number of other dignitaries. So we had joint party support there. So there wasn't problems politically down there in Tasmania. But it was a matter of getting information out to people, and I saw that as my role, to be able to be at the coalface and speak to as many people as I possibly could. I encouraged people to come run with me, meet me at the end of the day at the caravan parks on the side of the road where I was camping and staying. I made myself freely accessible to as many people as possible, and I just think we needed a lot more of that to be able to get the clear messages out there. I was in a unique position, having been a member of Parliament for 9 years between 2001 through to 2010 for the coalition government. And somebody who had seen some ups and downs in politics during the course of that time in relation to Indigenous affairs. And I thought with that experience, I could help enlighten people and be able to put a fresh approach to it all and help them to know and understand the facts around it all. But I simply couldn't get to everybody in the country. I did my absolute best, and I couldn't be everywhere all at once.
Well, you did a tremendous job. As we said, 14,000 kilometres is an incredible feat for anybody. So congratulations on all the work that you did. What happens next, Pat, in terms of healing? How can Australia move forward now from this?
Well, one good thing that's come out of this whole scenario, Danica, is the fact that it's been put on the agenda and it's up there front and centre of everybody's minds at this point in time. As you know, with news cycles, it's very easy to move on to something else, but we're talking about human equity here. We're talking about people's lives, and we're talking about the future of our First Nations people. So it's most important that it stays on the agenda until we get these issues sorted out and fixed. And there are many people in this country are living in poverty-stricken conditions. They are without clean drinking water. They are without clean sanitary conditions. Many places have 18 people living in one home, many places like that, multiple generations living under one roof. So it's most important that we keep the spotlight on that, and we hold the politicians accountable for that. It's one thing to say that, they all have the right intentions in place, whether they're for the yes campaign or the no campaign, but it's most important now that they actually do something in their power about those situations, and they keep the focus on that. So the good things that will come out of this is we need to look at how we can move forward, how with the information that we now have, and that we can try and alleviate those lives for those people. As I've mentioned to your listeners in the past, Danica, there's so many times I've run in overseas countries, in third world countries, and had the absolute support of Australian businesses and Australian people to support those causes in other countries. What a lot of people didn't realise until this opportunity now was that this sort of thing is happening in our own backyard. And as I've said to many people, charity starts at home.
Pat, would you do it all again to raise awareness?
Yeah, absolutely. I would. I went through an incredible time, both myself, my family, and my crew. It was incredibly difficult and very, taxing, very taxing on my body. But having said that, I have love, empathy, and understanding for our First Nations people. And if I had to do it again tomorrow, I would do it again tomorrow. Such is the need that's in that community.
Pat, you're back home in Sydney now. What's next for you?
I'm going to take a few weeks to recover and recuperate. I've got some injuries that I'm carrying over that need some attention. I'll spend a bit of time trying to recover, and then I'll certainly be beating the drum and doing all that I can to continue on the work in this field.
Yeah, some well-deserved rest. I'm sure the body must be really needing it now. Pat Farmer, again, congratulations on all the work that you've done over the last 6 months. It's been a huge effort across Australia, and we've certainly been watching your journey very closely. So congratulations again.
Tanisha, thank you so much, and thanks for your support.
Pat Farmer, they're live for us, returning to Sydney today after that 6-month marathon effort.